Thank you, Lindsay. And this whole idea is running a business by design, right? We also have to start from the end. Begin with the end in mind. Okay. You've heard me say this quote many times before. If you guys don't know where I get it from, it's Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think it's a book you definitely want to read, but begin with the end in mind. What's your business look like in 10 years? What's your business look at the end of your career? And then we work backwards. I know it's a hard concept to grasp, but if you don't know where you're going or where you're headed, then you're almost like flying blind. And that's a big problem in itself. So let's start with begin with the end in mind. Okay, so I got a little thing for you guys to kind of look at here first. Every day in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the fastest lion or it will be killed. Every morning, a lion wakes up. It knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle or it will starve to death. It doesn't matter whether you're a lion or a gazelle, when the sun comes up, you better be running. So that basically tells me do something, get up. You got to either move, you got to move. We're designed to move. So make sure that you get up in the morning and do something. So before we do this and we talk about starting with the end in mind, because some people are like, they don't know where to start, right? What do I have? What does that mean to me? This is what it means to me. Think about a life you want, right? We got to start with our why. It was once said, if a why don't make you cry, you have the wrong why. So you must make sure that it's a meaningful why. So I think we should start with some California dreaming. Think about a life you want. Think about what home are you waking up to? What does your retirement account look like? Okay, so for those of you that kind of towards the end of their careers, we must be thinking about what happens when this all goes away? Are you going to be handing over your business to, your team? Is it going to be something that you're going to be handing your business over to your son or daughter? What does it look like for you? And then I also want you to think about your vacations, and Jeff has already kind of beat me to this one. So, you got to be thinking about what you want to do with this money. It's got to be a purpose. There has to be a purpose. You can't say, I want $1 million in the bank. Well, what is that million going to do for you? I mean, at the end of the day, if it gives you the freedom, if it gives you some kind of security, great, that's amazing. But you also have to have a purpose for that money. So make sure you start thinking about these things, because it's really, really important. This business is very difficult. And, when you're going through some of the tough parts of this business and adversity, these are some of the things that you want to keep focus on is, you got to get yourself up. You fall down 6 times, you get up 7 type of thing. This is what's going to help you get up, the motivation. So what's your plan? All right. What's your plan? What does it look like? If you want to be the most successful agent in the area, the city, the county, whatever you want to do, how are you going to get there? So one of the things I want to talk to you about is a plan. One of the quotes that Denzel Washington said, I really love it. It says, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. All right. So now we got to think about our business. What does our business look like in 5 years? What does your business look like in a year? And we break it down to what does it look like at the end of the year? All right. And then we'll kind of give it a little bit of more of a breakdown. I like to start this. You guys see me use this, this platform or whatnot. I'm not going to bore you with the details on this one because this is not the training for it, but it starts with your core values. What are your non-negotiables? Some of the non-negotiables can be integrity. It could be, work ethic, and I'll show you some of mine. And then you guys can go through your own and kind of make it your own, because everybody has their own business and all the things that they're looking for. These are some of the things that I have as agents and things that I look for in people, but work ethic, right? Integrity, learning based. All right. I take 2 hours out of my day every single day. It doesn't matter how busy I am or what tasks I got to have to do. I'm going to take time to learn, because I know the more you learn, the more you will earn. Period. End of story. And you always got to be thinking that way. So transparency is another big one for me. You got to be an open book. So be an open book with your clients. Perseverance, positivity, beliefs. You guys will have this, so you don't need to take screenshots or take your notes. I'll give you the slideshow after and with this information on there. So with that being said, use those as your core values. All right. Core focus. Some of you people work with military families, right? If that is going to be your niche, I want to work with military families relocating from other states into San Diego. Maybe that's your niche. That's what you want to put on there. This is what's going to separate you from everybody else. And then you cater the experience to the clients around military families. All right. So that's just one example. It could be luxury. Create an experience for your clients. We'll talk about experience for your clients a little bit later in the slideshow. But point is, you got to know what your target market is. That's basically what we're looking for. Your core focus. Who are we concentrating on? Start with your passion. All right. Some are, single fathers, single mothers. Maybe that could be your niche, is that I want to help single mothers find a property for themselves, or I want to find, single fathers that are looking for homes to, parent their children. Whatever the case may be, find out what your niche is and put gasoline on it. And we'll talk about it in part 2. So 10-year focus, 10-year target. If it's going to be retirement, if it's going to be, hey, I want to finish my career in the positive, and I'll want to create something, a legacy to pass along. Whatever the case may be, your 10-year target needs to be passed on. This is where you're going to put this in there. I want to retire in 10 years. I want to retire in 5 years, whatever the case may be. What's your 10-year target? This is what we talked about. Begin with the end in mind. Start here. Okay. And then we'll work backwards. And then now your marketing strategy. What are some of the unique qualities about yourself? I see people do pop buys. I see people do open houses. Some people are prospecting phones. Whatever the case may be, we need to make sure our marketing strategy is written down here, because this is what's going to hold you accountable. Our 3-year picture. What does your business look like in 3 years? What's the future date? What's the revenue, profit, measurables, all these different things. So we'll break it down to 1 year. What's your 1 year? What's your goals for the year? Write down all the goals for the year. Okay. And then rocks are quarterly, which means every quarter. What do you want to accomplish in a quarter? And then you get through your issues list. Like I said, we can break this whole thing. I could take an hour just on this, and I have before in the past. All right. This can apply to teams. This can apply to your business. It can apply to so many different things. And this, to me, is the ultimate thing to put on paper. So therefore you can see this. This is your goal planning. So that being said, let's move on to your morning routine. Because like I said before, some of you get out of bed at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and you're still successful. That's awesome. My only argument to you is, are you really maximizing your career? Or is it just kind of like you got to you get to the 250 mark and you're happy with that, which is great. $250,000 is a lot of money. But for me, I always want to be the best version of myself. Okay. It doesn't matter. I don't have an amount. I don't want to compare myself with anybody in the group. I don't want to compare myself with other brokerages. I just want to be the best version of myself. And I know in order to do so, I got to have a morning routine in place, because we're creatures of habit. We truly are. If you wake up at 6, wake up at 6 every single day. If you wake up at 6:30, that's when you wake up. Fine. I'll tell you what I do. And this is some of the things that I think that all agents should do to some degree. You can kind of tweak it your own. 6:30 to 7 o'clock, wake up, prayer, gratitude, spirituality, meditate, do whatever you need to do, put it inside there. Work out, which I'll be the first to admit, I've been kind of slacking in this area. 7 to 7:30, workout, listening to podcasts, Audible, YouTube. I definitely do that because I want to be able to create that type of positivity before I start the day. Because if you win the morning, you will win the day. I'll say that again. You win the morning, you will win the day. So 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'm getting ready, checking in, returning emails, breakfast, all that kind of good stuff. 8 to 8:30, you're prospecting emails, texts, and KV Core. I don't do this anymore because, as you know, I'm running the business. This is what I think you should do. Between 8 and 8:30, prospecting emails. And I'll explain that to you maybe in another course. But basically, start your emails then, because by the time they respond in the afternoon or the early part or late part of the morning, you now have already established a routine. 8:30 to 11 o'clock, you're prospecting phone calls. Now, some people on this call are saying, well, I don't make any phone calls. Well, I think you do. If you're making any of your calls to your past clients, that's when you should do so. If you are following up with an open house lead, that's when you do so. That's when you start to actually either pound the phones, door knock, whatever those things that you do in order to create that business for yourself, you need to do it in the morning. Now, I've been asked, well, I do that in the afternoon. Fine, good for you. Here's the problem with actually doing it in the afternoon or, morning, afternoon. It doesn't matter. If you don't actually prospect in the morning, what takes place in my brain is that we'll go to lunch and then we'll never come back. We'll never end up doing it. So make it part of your routine. Therefore, it gets done. Now, I've heard other people say, well, it's better to do it in the afternoon. We'll do it in the morning and the afternoon. Does that hurt? Because if you get your body, like I said, we're creatures of habit. So I want you to do all your prospecting in the morning, do your follow-ups at 11 to 12 o'clock, and do your processing in that time. So what's the processing? What does that mean? Well, make sure that if you have an appraisal that you need to, schedule, fine, do that then. If you need to talk, check on the loan, call then, find out what's going on with your deal, check in with your TC. Anything that you need to take care of, do it between 11 and 12 o'clock. Now, 12 to 12:45, this could be maneuvered. You can kind of move things around between your follow-ups and your lunch. Some people don't take a lunch. Some people do this while they're eating lunch. Whatever the case may be, again, make a morning routine that works for you and your lifestyle. Everybody has different chores, different things, different responsibilities, kids drop-offs, whatever the case may be, you're gonna cater it to your lifestyle and what your responsibilities are. Now, here's a big one. All your appointments are going to be in the afternoon. Say that again. All your appointments are going to be in the afternoon. All your buying showings, all your appraisals, reviews, your listing presentations, whatever the case may be, do it in the afternoon. All right. And, question would be, well, why do I do it in the afternoon? Therefore, you can do all this stuff in the morning. You're not being interrupted. How many times has this happened to you? You're going to show a property at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then, it takes an hour or two. You get back to the office, you're exhausted. You're tired. You're like, oh my God, I got to make my calls. I got to do all these different things. You check your email, and now you're putting out a fire because you didn't do your prospecting or you didn't do your follow-up or processing in this time period. Now, instead of prospecting, all you're doing is putting out fires. And I know that you can relate to this because that used to be my business for 15 years. Putting out fires, showing, at the mercy of what the buyer schedule looks like. And I'm not saying you got to make adjustments. You should make adjustments, but try to at least be the one driving this thing. Okay. You got to be the driver. Don't let these appraisers tell you I have a time between 9 and 10. All right. And then, so now instead of doing your prospecting, you're now showing, opening up the door to the appraiser. Bottom line is this. Look, appraisers are going to appraise the property, whether you show it to them at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 or 1 or 2 o'clock. We try to accommodate to the appraiser's schedule because we think it's going to help the appraisal. I get that part. But here's the bottom line. You're busy too. They give you a time window. Why don't you flip that? You give them a time window. I have availability on Tuesday between 1 and 2 or on Friday between, 2 and 3. What works best for you? And I guarantee you, they're going to probably find a time for you, or they're going to say, well, what if Wednesday works out better for you? Well, Wednesday afternoons. I do a lot of my appointments in the afternoons. There's a lot of obligations. There's a lot of seminars I'm at in the morning. If you don't mind working with my schedule, I really appreciate it. They would love that. I think they would respect that. But anyway, all your appointments are in the afternoon. Okay. Learning is earning. We talked about that. What are you reading? Who are your mentors? What are you listening to? Audible is a big one. I think that everybody should download the app Audible, all right? Because we do a lot of driving as realtors, and a lot of times you should be listening to something positive, something that's actually going to be growing your business. There's so many different angles. There's so many different free stuff that you should probably get to. And that's something that I think everybody should download almost immediately is the Audible, okay? So, and then who are you surrounding yourself with? That's a big one for me. I was just talking to my wife the other day. I'm a person that actually protects my mindset at all times. There's some type of negative news. Yeah, I may just entertain it for a quick second, but then I'm going to be like, hey, I'm busy. I got something to do. And, good luck with that. But, there's some terrible things going on in the world. And, something that's on my mind is obviously what took place in Texas yesterday. Not to change the mood here, but, it's terrible. There's so many bad things. There's so many bad people in the world. And, this is just a crazy world we live in, and we got to protect our mindset because we still have a goal to do. We still have some chores. We have responsibilities that we must accommodate to and take care of. So just make sure you block out the nose the best you can during work hours. And that's something I believe I've done a great job. I wouldn't say I mastered it, but I'm pretty good at doing so. Now, this is a big one for me. Create an experience for your clients. Create an experience for your clients. What type of level service are you providing? What connection do you have with the client? Some of you do such a beautiful job connecting with your clients, right? They become your friends. And you work with them for 30 days, 40 days, 60 days, whatever you're working with them. And now you're becoming well acquainted with each other's lives, right? That is big. Follow them on social media, all these different things that you can do to continue with that relationship. But the exposure and trust equals loyalty. Remember, when they trust you, they'll be loyal to you. And I just want to show you a quick little video on this. Is a pretty good way to kind of think about your experience with your clients, and your brand really is all about the experience. So I want you to listen to this.
In real estate, there are a lot of things that we all can do. We all can put a for sale sign out front. There are a lot of things that we all can do, but what can we do differently? And for me, ultimately, it came down to, I wanted to deliver an experience that they wouldn't get anywhere else. I would say my personal brand and our team brand really is about the customer experience. I like to correlate things to experiences. And a great example is if you were to fly on a first class flight overseas and you pay the extra money for a first class experience, you kind of have an expectation of what that's going to look like. And my objective with my team is that we are always delivering a first class experience. I want them to feel like they just took a first class flight. And so that is one of the things that we've worked really tirelessly at, is doing more, doing a little bit better. It doesn't have to be anything huge or great, but just those little steps each day to do just a little bit more and to deliver an experience that I call as a first class experience. I was a military wife and a military spouse. And so we did quite a bit of relocation. And I was the one that kind of took the lead when we would be relocating to find the housing and figure out, okay, where are we going to plant down our roots as we relocate for his career? Those experiences taught me how I want to treat people when they're relocating to our area, and the level of service I wanted to deliver and the connection I wanted to be for those people. Because I remember how it felt to move into a community and not know a soul. You didn't know one person. And so I really leaned in on that realtor and had some expectations of hoping to at least, figure out, okay, where's even the Target, the grocery store, just give me the basic layout of the community. So that's always been a goal for me, to be that connection to people as they come into our community. When I made the decision to put our billboards up, that was even on another higher level of like, okay, this is exposure, and exposure in a good way, because it was part of the branding and part of my business plan that year to really focus and kind of drill down on what are we passionate about? What are we going to do to create a different experience in our marketplace? When COVID hit, I think we all had to embrace some new technology. I think that was an important piece when we had to pivot last year. Many of us did. Was implementing new systems quickly and learning to be very efficient with those, and how we could, maximize those experiences for people even remotely. I knew that I wanted growth, but it didn't need to be in really big amounts. And I was confident that as I slowly and steadily built that business, that I would build a brand that was one that was trusted in our market. As you build that experience for those clients and they continue to tell their family and their friends and their neighbors, that is basically the foundation of what I established early on. It's important to have volume, and I completely understand that, especially as a team lead. We need the volume to be established in our market, but also at the same time, not to the point that we're compromising our experience and how we're taking care of people. I think the brand has evolved over the years of just simply taking good care of people and delivering an experience that they will tell their friends and family about. And majority of my business, like I said, really does come from the past clients and their experiences.
I love this video. I really do. I think it's very simple, but people underestimate the experience of what people go through, good or bad sometimes. Sometimes they have a bad experience with an agent, and they're just because of the fact that they were, the agent wasn't transparent, or they were blindsided. There's so many different things, during that, the 30 days or 40 days or however long you're working with those clients, a lot of experiences that could be good or bad. I want you to concentrate on the experience. Think about it this way. Every time you have a buyer or seller, from start to finish, what are we looking for? How are we going to be treating them? are we giving them the expectation ahead of time? I have some slides that I can share with the group, not today. Well, maybe I'll share it with, after this presentation of what to send to the clients. It's called a what to expect presentation. And it could be from, hey, do not do this during the mortgage. Don't apply for new credit cards. It really gives a whole different breakdown of what not to do and what to do. And I think that's important because a lot of times the client doesn't know. See, we treat the clients as if they know sometimes, and that's a big mistake. Act as if they're a third grader and they don't know anything about the experience of buying or selling real estate. We're assuming things. Don't assume anything. Walk them through the process. If you see that they've been doing this once or twice before, or it's a past client, you've sold them 3 or 4 houses in the past, okay, it could be a different story. Now, I would update them on what they don't know or all the changes that are taking place. And I know this business is changing all the time. New contracts are being done. We have all kinds of different regulations that are taking place. If you're an investor, you need to know about all the tenant rules and all the new things that are taking place in our market. And it's up to you. You're the professional, okay, to actually give them that advice and guide them through the process. So make sure you look at the buyers and sellers and understand that you're creating an experience for them. So walk them through the process. Now, of course, this is, pretty typical in any type of real estate situation that you always want to stay in constant contact. We have some pictures over there to the right. We have some amazing agents that do amazing things. We have a client appreciation that they do. A lot of people in this group, they do it once a year and they appreciate their clients. So they throw a party, and so many people have gotten listings and deals from that, just from kind of putting a group together. And the next thing you know, they're talking to you a little bit more about their grandchild, or, hey, by the way, this is an update I did to that home. And can you believe, now my neighbors are all moving and this is the price. A lot of real estate conversations take place in those client appreciation parties. So please, if you haven't done so, please do one. I think you're going to find it doesn't need to be fancy. Talk to Michelle Warner, talk to Bob Adams, Michelle, Maria Martin. There's so many people in this group that do these things, and they do it at such a high level. Lean on each other. Okay. Lean on each other. Libby does a lot of those gift bags and all the things that she does in the giveaways. And, Michelle, again, does a lot of giveaways. And please lean on each other for advice. This is what we're all about here. We're a family. So if you don't know how to get one going, or you don't know what the first steps would be, please reach out to our associates that have done so and then get some advice. And my point is pop buys, parties, social media, gift cards, referral gifts. Okay. So every time a person gives you a referral, give them a little gift card, $15, $20, Starbucks. They just thinking of you. I appreciate the fact that you referred me, Bob Adams. Please, keep them coming. Thank you so much for that. This is how I build my business. Whatever. Handwritten notes. Those are huge. I don't personally do them, but Jeff Hans and a lot of people that are on this call, they do them, and it works, and it's effective. It's very effective. You took the time to actually write them a handwritten note. Thank you so much for the business. Thank you very much for the referral. Thank you for whatever. Just appreciate them. You taking the time. It can make all the difference in the world. Make sure you're doing so. And happy birthdays. Look, you're getting those Facebook updates on the birthdays. Don't just message them back, happy birthday. All right. Do a video. When you do a video saying, hey, I just want to wish you a happy birthday. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the, support you've given me through the years. And, thanks for the referrals. And I just want to wish you a happy birthday. Make it a special one. Send them a video message, right? I'm telling you right now, that would be a game changer if you did so. Okay. So just remember, stay in constant contact. I got some other things I want to share with you before I kind of, conclude here. We talked about learning is earning, but this is going to be part 2 to this. Okay. So part 2 to this would be like a 2.0. I just kind of want to show you what I'm going to be doing a little bit more on your experience. So these are some tips. I'm going to create I'm going to send this over to you guys to kind of put this together, but you can create a brochure, place a sign, advertise a listings, research, all the things that you would do in a buyer's experience. This would be helping you during that kind of moment. It's not for you to read right now, but I just wanted to show you that there's going to be some marketing ideas and some buyer time savers on some of these things. And then I'll share this with the group. We'll do a part 2 to this. All right. So I know I'm going fast here, but I need to. All right. One more thing I want you to take care of. I showed you guys in my accountability chart. You're going to have your own little accountability part. Whether you have one team member, two team members, you have an assistant, whatever the case may be, you need to put all your roles and responsibilities, everything that belongs in your business, and you need to put it on a piece of paper. Now, you're going to be all of these people at first, right? You're going to be the marketing guy. You're going to be the marketing gal. You're going to be the, the listing agent. You're going to be all of the things that you need to do. You're going to wear all these different hats, but you need to still put them on a thing that needs to be done. Now, I'm also going to share with you a task management sheet that will give you all the things that you need to do in the listing, all things that you need to do when you're working with a buyer. So that way you'll know what those are. So the buyers and the sellers task, no problem. With them, when it regards to the marketing, you need to do a lot of the marketing, and you need to make sure you're going to be delegating that. I want to say, if you are platinum or above, or you're working your way towards platinum, your first hire is going to be an assistant. All right. It's definitely going to be an assistant. And then we can talk about some different things in your business on a one-on-one basis. You can let me know where you are in your business, but we can even do some of that virtual. We can go through, Fiverr. We can go through Upwork. We can go through all these different platforms for you to actually get some of these things taken care of. Therefore, you can concentrate on working for the buyers and sellers and not doing a lot of the admin work that your business requires. Again, this was just to show, what I have as far as my own little, how I run the business with an accountability. And what each roles and responsibilities are. You're going to figure out what you're going to do on your own. There's one more thing I'm going to show you on the business tracker. Like I said, I can spend a whole hour on some of these things, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to show you how to actually run this business, because again, you need to track yourselves. You need to track how many hours you're working as prospecting, how many listings taken, how many listings sold, how many buyer appointments you're going on, how many buyer sales you have. What's your conversion rate? And this whole training is not to show you that, hey, I'm going to show you this, and I'm also going to share this with you. So therefore, if you do want to track yourself, I think it would be a great idea to do so. So let's just say we are going, and we're in April now, or excuse me, we are in May, May 25th. So that being said, this is how simple this is. Days worked would be 1. How many hours prospected? Let's just say it's 2. How many contacts did I make in that hour or 2 or however long? Let's just say it's 10. Did I set an appointment? No, I didn't. Listings done. I didn't do any listings. Listings taken, 0. And listings sold, maybe I have one closing soon, but not right now. I do have a buyer's appointment, and you know what? I did have a buyer sale close. So it's 1 transaction that's closed. My earned income, I made $20,000. Great. You're going to fill that out every single day. These are the only things that you need to do. It's that kind of, 5 minutes out of your day. Every single day you go through this. And then what takes place in these kind of situations, there's going to be a summary. All right. You're going to put your goals over here to the left. Again, we'll spend more time on this, but if anybody wants to track, I suggest that you get onto the next training that I do when it talks about tracking your business. And then we're going to take this as a 2.0. All right. So this is one of the things that you can do to track. All right. So just to give you an example. All right. One more thing I really want to share with everybody here is, have fun with it. I want to make sure that everybody understands a business is a business. You don't need to kind of get complicated with it. You also got to treat it like a business, because if you don't treat it like a business, it becomes something that's going to be fluctuating. You're not going to really like your job. You're not going to know what to do. You're going to be a chicken without a head. So if you treat it like a business and you understand that, hey, there's parts in the time of the day that I got to take care of certain things, marketing should be one everybody takes time to do. Whether you're marketing yourself, marketing your listings, marketing, whatever the case may be, it needs to be part of your business. Prospecting, all these different parts of your business. And we can break that down on an individual basis. But I know I covered a lot. It was been about a half hour now. I think I have a couple of questions. Lindsay, do I have any questions right now? No questions? Okay.
No questions.
No questions. Good. I'm going to open it up for questions right now. Does anybody have any questions of what we went through, slideshows, how to run a business, anything that they may want to know in additional to what I shared with everybody? Go ahead, I'll open it up now. No? What are some of your comments? Taylor, tell me a little bit about what you saw so far.
It's that routine, getting the routine, getting it in a habit, it's just forming a habit. And it's, just checking off little things, just making sure those are getting done every day. And I think that's something I can pick up on a little more and take from.
I love that. One thing about habits, just to kind of share with you guys, there's a book called Atomic Habits. I'm going to show you my cheat sheet here. All right. Make it invisible. If it's a reducing exposure, for an example, some of your bad habits, right? Your phone, put your phone in another room. If you're working on reading, or if you're doing something, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure you reduce it and get it out of your face. Some of the things that you should do when you get home, at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And like I said, I'm bad with this and I shouldn't be preaching this, but you should put your phone on the charger and leave it in the room for a couple hours. I have a little bit more responsibility to some degree. So I need to get, by my phone, but come on, we all know this thing could be a big problem. So put it in another room, make it unattractive. Like all these different things is a little cheat sheet. Again, I'll share with you guys, but if you haven't read the book, Atomic Habits, really, really, really great book to kind of let you talk about, when it comes down to habits. Thanks for sharing that, Taylor. Appreciate that. Any other eye openers of things that I went through, or maybe even a situation that you can kind of share with the group about an experience that you had, that thinking outside the box, or, when it comes to I think I can call upon people, but, I'd rather hear your, volunteer your information. Anybody else?
Mike, I've
Who's
got
that?
something I'd like to share with the group.
Please, Larry,
Just
go for it.
Just a thought thing. I'm a morning person. I love mornings. I'm not such a night owl, but I'm a morning guy. But I've seen a study and I verified the numbers. If everybody were to start every single day 1 hour earlier, it would give them the equivalent of an additional month in every year. Now, who couldn't do well with an additional month in the year? So wake up every morning with the attitude that at this moment, I'm a real estate agent. I'm unemployed at this moment until I start working. And 1 extra hour every day, an extra month in the year, you're going to make a lot more money if you do that.
I love that you said that, Larry. That is a really good tip. So for those of you that are waking up, any later than 8 o'clock, you may want to rethink your nights, and you may want to rethink how you actually are going to perform, the next day. And I see a couple people laughing because, some of their nights I'm scared to even ask what they look like sometimes. But here's the thought. Monday through Friday should be something that you got to be so strict on yourself. You really do, because that to me is the meat and potatoes. A lot of you that are working on the weekends with the open houses or whatnot, I'm not saying not to do it during the weekends as well, but everybody expects you to be available, in my opinion, between, Monday through Friday, at least 9 to 5, at least those times. So you need to make sure that you actually are available. Not only are you running a business, but don't do your errands, during those times. I'm really bad with this, or not bad. I think I'm really good with this. I won't allow any personal phone calls between 9 and 5. If they are really quick text messages to my wife, I love you back and whatnot, but we're not going to carry on a conversation. All right. Between 9 and 5, I'm working. I got one question to ask everybody. Some of you on this call make more than doctors. True or false? True or false? Yes or no? We make more than doctors. Some of us here, we do. So why do doctors work 50, 60, 70 hours and we think we can just do 30 or 40? That's crazy to me. It's insane that you don't think that you're obligated to your clients. And a lot of you do a great job of it, right? We make ourselves available, but at least 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, work this as a full-time job. And then if you're going to work full-time, you're going to get paid full-time. So at the end of the day, treat it like a business, put the time and effort into your business, always be learning and always grow with your, grow with yourself and be the better version of yourself. Any other questions before we kind of conclude?
Mike, I wanted to say something, Danny.
Okay, go for it.
What would you recommend for an agent that says that they're mainly referral based?
Yeah.
Like, where do they start? Because I know that they want to start somewhere, but they don't know where, as far as like marketing and just like get into the habit of like reaching out to other clients or a farm or whatever. And I feel like they're missing out on a lot of business. So where would you recommend they start?
Well, I think we definitely should start with their clients, and I'm not going to say to ignore that, right? So are we doing a good job with, taking care of the clients from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? We need to start staying in front of them, start doing that client appreciation party. That referrals will come out of that. That's a form of prospecting. When you're working your past clients and you're working with people that done business with you in the past, they are more likely to refer you business than a stranger. Remember, there's 3 things that you got to have. They got to like you, they got to trust you, and they got to believe that you're competent enough to get the job done. Those 3 check marks are already done. So we must make sure we're maximizing it. So I would first thing I would say is, what CRM are you working with? Okay. If you don't have them in a database with constant touching with market updates about their property, or maybe the location that they're looking for, then you made a big mistake there. If you can't treat the people that you've already closed business with, how are you going to be doing new business with people? And if you're not even putting them on market updates and keeping them informed of what's going on. Now you can do that in different ways. You don't need a CRM for that. You could do video, you could do text messages, whatever the case may be, but it's a little bit more time consuming. So part 2 to that question, because that's a really great question. I get that a lot. Where do I start? I don't know how to prospect. I don't know how to do 1, 2, 3. And, be intentional. This is what I mean. You got a listing in that area. You got a listing, or a brokerage got a listing in that area. Market that area. You don't have to spend a lot of money to do so. You can do it by phone calls. You could do it by door knocking. You could do it by, an open house, or maybe even a neighborhood welcome before the open house. Do an hour before the open house, and just include the neighbors in the area. Say, look, this is specially done for you between 12 and 1. It's open to the public between 1 and 4, but this is a special invitation that I'm offering for you. And you can do this by door knocking, give it a flyer with it. And this is the conversation you're going to have with them. Look, neighbors, I wanted you here first because I wanted you to see the layout. Obviously, you guys are probably inquiring about, what your home is worth or whatnot. If there's anything that you need to know about your property, go ahead and give me your information there. I can give it to you. But there's part 2 to this. This is another reason why I'm inviting you to this open house, is because you now get to choose who your neighbor is. If you know anybody else that's looking in this neighborhood, family, friends, you've heard people that want to get in there. As you know, it's a very beautiful neighborhood, and it's very hard because there's not too many listings that come up in this area. This would be your time. They'll start marketing for you. Oh my God, I can start letting the people know at work. And that's where they would start. They would start because of the fact that they be more intentional. Leverage your listings. You should be getting 2 to 3 deals on every listing that you have. If you're not, you need to start looking back about what marketing are you doing? What activities are you not doing? And are you capitalizing on some of the leads that are coming in through the door? So there's 2 things. It's either a will, which means you're not doing it, you don't care to do it, or it's a skill. You don't know how to actually get them from lead to prospect to deal to close. And if that's the case, I definitely want you to improve your skill set. We're going to talk about, NLP in the future, neuro-linguistic programming. We're going to talk about the communication, what to say, how to say it, what closing questions. What are some probing questions that are going to help you understand your client a little bit better? Personalities. I have, me, I can talk for hours for different categories. And I think there's so much to know in this business. So I would encourage that person, Annie, to always be intentional. When they do have some type of business, let's maximize it. Then we can start adding little branches like, open houses to their business. Then we can open it up by circle dialing that area. We can talk about expires and for sale by owners and all different ways of getting business, but it's just the best way to do so. It's just to start. An old Chinese proverb says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So let's get started. Let's get doing it. If you haven't done it in the past, do so now. Thank you for that question, Annie. Anybody else? Can I put Michelle Warner on the spot?
Okay.
Okay, Michelle, first of all, congratulations on a beautiful, successful Rotary party that you threw the other day. And
Oh, thank you.
yeah, I think it was a huge success. And you're constantly doing this. You're constantly in front of your clients. What bit of advice do you have for anybody on this call, that maybe wants to start something? They're scared to just do a client appreciation party. They're scared to do the Popeyes. They're scared to do some of these things, or they haven't done it, right? What's your advice to them?
The client parties are easy, super easy. I do a quarterly event and they're smaller, anywhere from 20-ish people. But my holiday party at the end of the year is the biggest, and I've had almost 200 people in attendance on those. So it's pretty successful. Every event brings a lead, a listing, a referral, something. They're easy to do. Keep it simple. Don't spend too much. I've done everything from painting parties, self-defense, learn how to make a baby hat. I mean, think outside the box. Find your people in your sphere and do small events that you can be more intimate with. Larger parties, it's hard to talk to everyone. What are you involved with? The benefit I just did over the weekend was a barbecue, and I co-sponsored, and we raised money for the vets. All I did was post it all over social media, invite my RE/MAX family, invite my sphere of influence. And I think I calculated about 22 RE/MAX people come, thank you. But I had 65 people total just from social media and sending a postcard that came to support. I didn't ask them to do anything other than come and pay for a meal and support the vets. But I got 2 leads that day.
Look at this.
I work by referral only. And so your sphere of influence is crucial in this business. And that's friends, family, neighbors, people you work out with, past clients, anybody, your doctor, your dentist, who your kids go to school with, play soccer with, whatever, those are your people.
So Michelle, you brought up so many things, right? And if I'm an agent just getting started, or, I've been in the business 5-10 years and I really haven't done any of the things that you just discussed, you've been able to grow your business, and you're number 2 in the company. Amazing job, by the way. I want to know what would be the first step? Like if you had to do it all over, you saw the beginning parts of you taking off. Is there one thing? Is it a combination? I'm curious. I don't know this answer, so I'm just kind of flying off the cuff by asking you this question. What exactly?
What would I do different?
Well, no, just what advice would you have? What do you think was attributed to your success? Is there one thing? Is it a combination? Did you treat your business like a business? What exactly was it that took you to the next level?
Well, it is a business, so you treat it that way. Number one, for sure. The first thing I did was I came up with my sphere of influence, and that is crucial. Even if you market to the neighborhood that you live in, you still need to have a sphere of influence. So sit down and write out, whether it's 100 people, get their name, their address, their phone number, their birth date, have that in your system, your KV Core, whatever system you're using. But that is crucial. Call those people, pop by, know, hey, I've got a dentist appointment. I'm going to be passing, the Johnson's house. Have something in your car at all times in case you run into someone or you're passing someone's house. Take the 5 minutes to knock on the door. I was around the corner, thought I'd pop by. It's important to get into the routine of making the calls, sending birthday cards, making sure that you're touching with these people, whether it's a phone call, email, handwritten card, something every month.
I love it. Thank you, Michelle, for your time. Thank you for your advice. I appreciate you. Keep up the great work.
That helped.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps. And look, it's best to hear it from a person that's actually doing it in the trenches, like yourself, was able to, maybe almost double their business. And my thought behind that is I'd rather them hear it from you because like I said, you've done it, you've been in the experiences, you've been in their shoes. And I think at the end of the day, you said it the best. You said they are running a business. Okay. So here's the bottom line. In a business, it has expenses, it has, revenue, and you got to make sure that the revenue exceeds the expenses, right? Or else you're going to be out of business. And it's only a matter of time where this business will squeeze you. Because if you're not in the trenches working every single day, Monday through Friday on your business, it's taken away. Somebody else is going to be able to take your business. And at the end of the day, if you're not in front of your past clients, or you're not in front of any type of prospects or new leads, then somebody else is. And I can guarantee you, if they are in front of them, they're going to forget your name. And then we get pissed, right? We get that call a couple of years down the road and we find out that, John Smith sold his property and you're like, oh my God, well, me and John had that bond. Well, where were you for the last few years? So again, not going to beat you down with the past client thing. I'm not going to beat you down on what to do. This is the whole purpose of this whole training was for you to actually treat it like a business. I want you to have a morning routine. You need to start figuring out what you need to start doing in that daily routine. And I hope I did a good job of explaining to you what I think you're doing. Now, we'll also do a part 2 to this, and we're going to break down those roles and responsibilities. And then we can teach you how to spread your wings a little bit more and how to get more business and prospecting and whatnot. So any other questions before we conclude? No? Okay, good. Anybody else want to share anything before we conclude? Anything outside the box?
I want to say something else, Mike. It's
Go
Andy.
for it. Please.
Something that I realized with I don't want to mention any names, but the agents here that are often in my office asking to market is that they put for every deal, they put aside an amount that they want to spend on marketing because they see the return. So I think it's important that if you're making money to spend a little bit just to get another deal, and I do see that happening more often. And it's for example, with Michelle, she'll come in and do it before and an after, a just listed, just sold, and she'll market every listing, whether it's postcards or she'll walk around or ask someone to walk around the neighborhood or come to Richard or someone around the office and ask them to call around the neighborhood for her so that the neighborhood knows that she was there. I think that's really important to make a plan for every listing, that it's a continuous thing that happens with every listing.
So part 2 to this, because we're going to do running a business by design 2.0, is going to be about return on investment, what you need to spend your money on, how you're going to actually get it back, and what to look for, and all these different avenues of doing. I've been through everything. I've spent so much money on leads that have not come back to me. I'll tell you what not to spend your money on. First of all, Zillow's a big problem. Don't ever deal with a now I'm always going to constantly say that if you're working with Zillow, you need to rethink your business plan, okay? Because they are a mess. And years later, I cut them off 5 years ago. But there's other lead sources where you can get your leads where they can actually work. Maybe it doesn't become a cold call. It could be a warmer call, right? They were inquiring about a property, or they were inquiring about what their property is worth. We'll talk about how to prospect, when to prospect, how much money you should put aside to actually, do further marketing. Thank you for bringing that up, Annie. I think it's a must. You have your own brand. If you're not spending money on actually building that to some degree, or, building off of what you've already built, then you know what? You're thinking in scarcity here. I promise you, it may not come back to you right away, but it will pay dividends in the future if it's put in the right directions. And that's one of the things that we'll talk about the next time with running a business by design 2.0. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate everybody's input. Thanks for participating, and have a wonderful day. If there's any
Mike, I think Sissy's hand is up.
Okay, Sissy.
Oh,
yeah, thank you. Sorry
hi.
to do that. Go,
Hello.
Sissy.
If you're out of time, definitely we can
No.
discuss.
No,
next
we got
time.
some time. Anybody
Okay,
that
cool.
needs to pop off, go so, but you know what? I'd love to hear what you have to say. As a matter of fact, I was going to call upon you, so I'm glad to hear from you.
Sure. Thank you so much. One of the important things that I always think it helped me in business, I know my weakness as an strength. For example, if the newsletter that I send out to my clients, if I had to pick the articles and design it, I would never do it. And I would get it so late, by the time I would send it out, it would be past, for example, Valentine or Christmas or holidays. So I give it to a company that they do it. I just tell them no recipes, no puzzles, just real estate and financing information. So as long as it's professional, I just put stamp on it and label, and it goes to clients. So it's hands-free sort of thing, because I know myself, if I try to design it, if I do it, it will never happen. So that's one important thing. I know my habits. So that has brought me so much business, because my clients, they always say, oh, we keep your newsletter. So our neighbor just is thinking of selling, we'll give it to the neighbor. Or our friends are moving to town and I didn't have your phone handy, but here it is. I gave them your newsletter and they're going to call you. So that has been one of the biggest things that has brought me business, because emails and social media, it comes and goes fast, but they have no choice but looking at my newsletter, even if it's for a minute before they put it in trash can, and some they keep it. So that's one great thing. And secondly, the things that I know I'm not going to be good at, I don't spend time on it. Many people are great in certain things, but mine is face-to-face with clients. I pick up the phone, as you said, in the morning. I always spend time just to say, hi, did you get my newsletter? How are you doing? Homes are coming on market near you. Any thoughts? That morning, it just brings so much more calls in the afternoon and in following days. So I'm totally for that. And also, as you mentioned, first-class service. I'm there for them, anything they need at any time. I don't put restrictions on my time or on my days. I'm there for clients when they need anything, or ahead of time, I provide something that they didn't expect. Anything for their transaction, deliver things to them ahead of time so they don't have to wonder what's going on. So, sorry about the long thing, but
I'm blown away, because it's like the same, it's like really the common denominator. You know, I've been hearing newsletter, I've been hearing, you know, making phone calls. It's amazing that you just heard from your two top producers, right? Sissy, we have Michelle. I'm curious to see how Judy Spady gets her business and whatnot. So I mean, it's really the same kind of recipe. Treat your clients with respect, give them an experience that they will always write home about and tell their family and friends. And you basically do something for prospecting. There's 8 different ways, okay, maybe more, but I'd say the top producers have at least 8 different avenues of actually getting business. Whether sometimes, like I said, client appreciate, I'd list them all. I'm not going to go over it, but bottom line is, she said a newsletter. How many people, be honest, let's have a be honest moment. How many people in this call right now, the 28, 30 people, are actually doing a newsletter? Okay, Yolanda, Taylor, Michelle. All right. How many people are not? Okay, I see you, Mike. Thank you for admitting that. Anybody else? Okay, so what are we going to do? Sissy, do you have a recommendation on a company that you can kind of say, hey, this would be a good starter for a newsletter?
Yes, it's a company that it's in Irvine, and they just do this newsletter. Usually their box is minimum 200. They can do a smaller batch, and it's usually about a couple of hundred. Okay. Sometimes I do it every other month, sometimes even quarterly, but constantly is going to my sphere of influence. That's who I market mainly, and they bring me tons of business. So yes, this company in Irvine, they send a box and newsletter is there. My picture is there. Most of the content is regarding real estate and financing, general information, some simple information, but my name and numbers on the newsletter, on the front and on the back. And actually, it has been a year I'm doing it with Pega. So Pega's picture with me and our information is on front and back.
So this company does it all for you. You just give them the list of the names of the clients or whatever the case may be.
You can do that. You can give it to them and they do it. But I ask them, to send it to me. Not only I make sure it goes out, when it goes out, I'm a little control freak that way. And also I'm always very, I want to say very conservative. I want to make sure if I have a time in front of TV for half an hour, it doesn't take more than 20 minutes to put the labels on. There are 200 and some stamps. So there's no reason for me to give it to someone when I have some free time to do it.
I love it. Mike Meter might have a question for you, or myself. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a newsletter, but I still have my Booge account, and I still do, like, once a month, I touch all my database with just an article that I picked out from Booge.
That works. That, look, you're in front of them, you're giving them real estate material. I love that Sissy says she doesn't want any fluff, right? She don't want any puzzles. She don't want, just make it, make it where it's fun. Judy, go ahead. You have a comment on anything else? One of the questions I had for you is, how do you get your business?
How do I get it?
Yeah, just give me some tips. You're always top producer. You've been top producer for a long time. I know you teach your clients with an ultimate experience. Can you give us any tips on, what to do or what not, how to run a business?
Well, first of all, I could tell you where my business comes from. Number one, it's a geographic farm I started over 30 years ago in Claremont. And I don't do mail outs very often. I do drop off things. Number two is the largest amount is past clients and referrals from doing a good job. And then I'm very active at the Rock Church, and I have a lot of leads come from that. And I'm very active with dog rescue, animal rescue, and I have a lot of business that comes from that as well. So I don't really do that much active marketing. It's mostly keeping in touch with people, calling them on the phone, and letting people know I sell real estate and I'd like to help them. And I would probably say 60% of what I do every day, real estate wise, I do for free. So I'll help people when somebody dies, or I'll help somebody refer people to do repairs and follow up with that and create relationships so that when they do sell or know somebody who does, that they'll call me. And I did a lot of Brian Buffini. And so when you get people to be in your court, they're kind of working for you. So I don't have to work as much.
Wow. Look at the golden nuggets. Look, if I can repeat, just to give a summary of what we heard from everybody on this call that, participated. Number one, look at Judy gives, she gives, then she gets, right? So she's dog rescue. Wow. That to me, you're doing something that you have a passion about, right? And then the people that you kind of interact with in that moment, of course, they like you. They're starting to trust you because they're spending time with you. Then you start talking real estate, and now they know that you're competent. You have your experience, you have your stats to show them if needed. So bottom line is they will do business with you. The church, amazing, right? You guys share something in common. You're talking with them. You're always interacting with them. They see you and, involved in the community. So here's the bottom line. Here's the golden nuggets that I got. Stay in contact. Okay. Not only contact with your past clients by different things, find a passion, find something that you love. You got a volleyball group. You like to play basketball. You like to do whatever the case may be. Have those groups and just build off of those relationships, because we are in the relationship business. Thank you, Judy, for sharing. Thank you, Sissy, for sharing. Thank you, everybody that participated. My pleasure. Thank you very much. All right. Anybody else? We're going to conclude. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys take this knowledge and apply it into your business, because not only knowing it, but speed of implementation. If I can give one more last advice, the reason why I think that I got to where I am today is because of that word, implementation. And I would put 2 words before that, speed of implementation. It's not when you do it, it's got to do it fast enough. So many times we overthink things. I want to do a newsletter, but you got to make it perfect. I'll get to it and I'll find the information and I'll get to it. No, start it today. We talked about the proverb. Make sure that you do it today. You may not have been sending out cards or doing all these handwritten notes. It's okay. Start with your past clients in the past year. Start with your past clients in the last 3 years. Just do something, do it quick. Don't let this business pass you by. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Looking forward to the next time we're together. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Mike.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for your
Thank you,
time.
Mike.
Thank you.